This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of us getting caught up on Anna. So, we've already. We're not going to go back to the Nando's thing because I think that was the last thing we covered anyway before I went on vacation. I don't know if you know, but I went on vacation. But we are back now, and I have recolored my hair. I used a different hair dye than I did last time. This is. I don't know. This is light mountain natural. I bought it because there's a fox on the cover. That's literally why I did it. But it's kind of pretty. I really like it. It's a lot messier than the other one that I used, though. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. We'll see how it develops. It says it develops over like a couple days, so we'll see. But anyway, Anna, we've already covered the video where Anna has her breakdown over good luck or good job getting out there. I don't know why she thought that was going to go over well. I know there is a second breakdown over proving that she did indeed do the hike. And it's confusing because I don't know which hike she's on about. We'll get to that. That's not this video. We might touch on those two hikes because I think the clips for those are going to be covered while we do this video. But she's confusing in that rant because I think she actually brings up both hikes. But I think the map she shows is for the high altitude hike. Something like that. But the screenshot is for the 10-mile hike. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. So what I want to do is go over the TikTok videos first. We'll hop over to Instagram, see if we've missed anything, because she started posting things on one social media site that she isn't posting on the other, which is unusual. But that's her new normal now, and I apologize if the camera jostles a little bit. I have a new setup, and it's not as stable as it used to be. So I'll try not to jostle things too much, but here we are. And what was I saying? Oh, so we'll try to figure that out as we go. We might have to hop over to the Reddit and or the Discord to kind of sort that one out when we get there, or we might have to go borrow footage from Lindsay, as I had to do during the live last night because Lindsay's got it, and I think Lindsay also has the now deleted. It's not that dirty, but deleted clip that Anna did where she was like, she's in this little outfit with her little big heart pin. It's like, I'm going to let God sort it out because if I have to do it, I'm going to jail. And it's just like, okay, Anna, whatever. Girl, you got to let shit go, man. You just got to let shit go. Look, I get it. Your feelings are hurt, but quit looking yourself up. Anyway, let's start off with Miss Rabbit. I think this is funny. I'm sorry. While I was on vacation, somebody sent this to me. I forget who it was, but it was sent to me on the Discord. I watched it. I thought it was hilarious. I think Anna can be funny. She and I have she and I share sense of humor elements, and this happens to be one of those times. But oh no, I don't have the sound going. No, because it's funny. There will be times, I will warn you guys, there will be times where there may or may not be sound. We're not going to do subtitles because I have heard you guys don't like it, and I will try to read things out. But if there are chunks of silence, that means there's like copyright music being played. And that's just what Anna does. So, all right, I will read this, though. The number one question I get asked is wearing compression in the summer hot. The answer is yes. Yes, it is. It sucks, but I do it anyway because that's what's best for my body. My body. I need a clip. Does the cynical dude have a clip where he's saying something like my body or something? I do it anyways, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes the best choices for us are not the most comfortable ones, and that's just life. But I know by wearing compression now, I'm going to feel so much better later, so a little temporary discomfort is worth it. Girl, if you'd been doing this before, you wouldn't be here now. But anyway. Plus, you know, I am not going to avoid the summer. I'm not going to avoid the sun during summer just because of some compression. I mean, theoretically, the compression is blocking the sun, so you are effectively avoiding the sun. So, and then she's got hashtags and at a bunch of stuff. So, Buff Bunny Collection. Is that why we're making fun of Miss Rabbit? Let's see. Anyway, go.
Miss Rabbit has fainted. Miss Rabbit has fainted again.
This is funny to me. I'm sorry. Miss Rabbit has fainted. Miss Rabbit has fainted again. I'm drinking Health Aid kombucha. It's the stuff from Aldi. But anyway.
Today I'm finally.
All right, so this is Come Take a Hike with Me. One of my favorite things to do is to just show up and take a trail. We explored a few trails before somehow ending up in a graveyard. And when we were dead tired. Okay. And when we were dead tired. I know you're making a joke. I get that. But all right. Sometimes I don't think she's funny.
Trying out my new hiking shoes.
It's a burr. That was funny too. She says there is absolutely no Wi-Fi, no internet connection, nothing out here. So we're just going to take a random trail because we don't really know where we're going. All right. First off, that's a terrible idea. But it looks like all of these trails are fairly well laid out. I still say you should, say it with me now, have a map and a compass. But I think she has John with her. And these do look like they're fairly well laid out. So she's in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, it looks like. Or at least that's what she has tagged here. So, well, she got a couple things tagged here. Oh, just CapCut. All right, whatever. Wow, she kisses the dog. She's on, what was that, Cataract? What does it say? She kisses the dog. Wow. Cataract Falls. Okay, she's going towards Cataract Falls? I think we watched this one already. She's walking under a bridge. She's walking around a tree. She's gonna walk over some rocks. Good job, Anna. Good job. She's walking across some more rocks. And in some water. Her feet are probably wet now. She's walking on a wall because, you know, the road is lava. She says, somehow we ended up in a graveyard. Old graveyards are actually kind of fun if you're ever in one. So just be respectful when you're in a graveyard. Which they don't look like they're being disrespectful. Yeah. So. Whatever. All right, cool. Okay, hang on. This is another one of her bitching at the camera things. So Anna has been on a little bit of a tear, and this TikTok was posted on July 18th, today being August the 1st. Oh, happy... I can't pronounce this one, this particular pagan holiday, because it's Gaelic, and I don't do Gaelic. Happy August the 1st. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled, and it's not phonetic, and I can't pronounce it. Sorry. Anyway, so Anna was on a little bit of a tear through August, and she just was... It started early, and she ended... not August, July. And she ended July on a banger. So...
I have a really hot take here.
Is it really that hot of a take, though?
But I think the first step to doing something right is doing it wrong.
There's a really great quote. I don't know who said it first, and I don't remember where I heard it eventually, but it was, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. I actually think I heard it from Neil Gaiman. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about Neil Gaiman anymore. I don't know, but I think that's who I heard it from. But it's always stuck with me. I think it's a good quote.
Because nobody does something perfect the first time they do it.
Anna, that's part of your problem, though. Like, you do shit and you expect to do it perfectly, and then you get pissy when you don't, and you get mad when people don't pat your ass for doing it. And that's when you start getting mad at people because we don't say, "Oh my God, Anna, you're so good at that. Oh my God." And that's when you start getting mad at people because we start pointing out how you're not good at the thing that you're doing, but you're trying to convince everybody that you're so good at it. Like the weightlifting thing right now, like you're getting kind of irritated at people because they keep trying to point out to you that like you're going to hurt yourself with the weightlifting. And the other thing, because the other thing that they keep saying is, who is training you? And why are they letting you do this the way that you're doing it? Because they're filming you lifting these weights. And like both of the people that I watch, and I don't watch Alan that often, I really don't, but I was very interested to hear what Alan had to say about your form, because I know Alan not only does the weightlifting thing, but Alan specializes in or he used to anyway, specialized in training obese individuals, right? So I was very interested to hear what he had to say about your form. And then also, you guys know I watch Chikara Transformations like practically religiously. And she's back to making regular videos again now that she's home from having her little one. And who she gave the most adorable name to. Anyway, so I was interested to hear what the two of them had to say. And both of them were like, who the fuck is training you? And not both of them in those words, but I think those were Alan's words exactly. You gotta hand it to the man. He's not filtered. So it's not just you people have a problem with. They're like, who the fuck is your trainer? And why are they not correcting your form? And why are they not working with you to get you into a good form? So it's not just you people people are having an issue with or having a problem with your trainer too. So that's kind of the issue. And no. Lindsay also had an issue with it. And I'm sure if I go watch Fit and Full Fat, she'll probably have a problem with it too. Because I think she does physical therapy or she does also training of some variety. So it's like everybody I watch who like does this shit, they've all had questions about why your form is not being corrected because you're clearly being trained. So why isn't the person training you? You know, this isn't like you went into like Planet Fitness. Hell, even Planet Fitness has trainers, right? So it's just very strange. You were at a $4,000 a week wellness camp. Why did the guy not correct your form?
So if you never do it wrong, you're never going to do it right because you never do it.
Yes, but if you continue to do it wrong, you're going to always do it wrong, and you're either going to continue to fuck it up and never do it right, and that potentially means you're going to catastrophically do something wrong, like blow out your back at near 600 pounds, you know, or you're going to hurt somebody else. You know, there's a reason why you're supposed to get better at things. Yes, everybody's new at something at some point, right? Nobody starts off an expert. Correct. You are supposed to get better as you go forward. But you don't ever seem to progress at things. You like dabble in it for like 5 minutes and then you move on to the next thing, which is fine if that's the goal, right? If you just want to be like, you know, you just want to sample things, that's fine. Some people just do that. Some people just want to go through life and sample life. There's a lot of shit to do in life. Like, you can't be an expert at everything. You can't even do everything, right? You have the money. You have the time. If you just want to walk through life sampling life, cool. Just tell people that's what you're doing. And I think most people would be like, okay, well, what are we doing this week? You know, it's like, what's our activity of the week this week? I'd be okay with that, honestly, because I don't have the time or the money to do that. And I'm perfectly happy watching other people do it because I can't do it. So, you know, if that's the actual goal, just tell me that's the actual goal and I'm here for it. But you don't do that. You make it sound like, oh, I trained for 3 months and now I'm an expert runner. But you're not. And you're like, I'm doing these massive deadlifts. And like somebody was pointing out that you're like lifting like the type of lift that you did was like not even that. I mean, it's cool that you did it. And the way that you sold it makes it sound like it's like this really amazing thing. But then both Alan and Lindsay broke it down to, Alan, I think Alona did as well, broke it down and it kind of explained it. This was kind of like lifting a bag of groceries. And I was kind of like, oh, all right. I mean, cool that you did it. But I'm like, well, so I could do that. I mean, I'm not, but I guess I could if I had the equipment. You know, it kind of takes the cool factor out of it, which I guess is kind of the point. But, you know, you kind of hyped it up and sold it as something it wasn't. Whereas if you were just kind of like selling it for what it was, I guess that's why people like Sal. Because Sal does a lot of things that are kind of cool. And he's a really big guy. He's still a really big guy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But like when Sal does something and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing. And we're all just like, wow. And it's like a very basic thing. And Sal's like, yeah, this is a basic thing, but I'm going to go do this basic thing. And it's going to be challenging for me, even though it's a basic thing. And we're all just like, it's okay, Sal. We're here for you. You know, like we're all rooting you on, Sal. Because like we're rooting Sal on because we know it's a basic thing, but it's challenging for Sal. You just make it sound like you're Superwoman and like everything's just easy. And we can't root you on, right? You make it impossible for us to root you on because you make it sound like you just should be able to do everything anyway. So this whole like, you have to suck at something before you're good at it. You just always sell yourself as being, you know, like the perfect A+ student at all times. So everything should just come to you naturally. So we can't root for you. You know, how do you root for the perfect person? You can't root for you because there's no chance of you failing. You kind of get what I'm saying here?
There is always room to get better. And
that's the other thing. If you're always the perfect person and you're always good at something, you can't get better. There's no room for you to get better. You're already perfect.
No matter what you're doing, the first time there is something that you are going to do wrong. And
when it's pointed out to you that you're doing something wrong, you lose your fucking shit. And you tell us that we're being bullies. And you tell us that we're being mean. And you tell us that we're haters. And you tell us that the only joy in life we have is sucking the joy out of your life.
It's okay. That's part of growing. Part of getting better is doing things wrong. I don't know why we don't talk about this more. We pressure everyone to...
Because when we talk to you about it, you freak out and you make videos and you call us dum-dums. That's why.
Be perfect all the time. And honestly, the first step to getting whatever it is you want to get together is doing it wrong, is showing up and just trying to do it. And then over time, you get better at it. Over time, you get the perfection.
Okay. Also, this person's name is I'm too old for TikTok, but you have to know Roman numerals. You win. Anyway. This is what I'm talking about. My first trap bar deadlift PR, 400 pounds. So I've never professionally trained for weightlifting, so my trainer wanted to assess what my limits are. 3 months post-surgery with virtually no heavy lifting training. I already have one max rep of 400 pounds. Now I'm considering pursuing powerlifting because clearly my body was made to be strong. Hashtag powerlifting, hashtag personal record, hashtag weightlifting, hashtag strong woman. This is what I'm talking about. She makes this video about everybody sucks when they start. And then the very next clip is her, I'm so awesome. I'm the coolest thing that ever was cool. Oh my God, you guys, I didn't realize that I was actually She-Hulk in disguise. Oh my God, I should have been a strong woman from the start. And it's like, this is not surprising considering she was comparing herself to Olympic lifters back during the Olympics. So this is not surprising to anyone, and if it is, you weren't paying attention. Okay. Anyway, but this is kind of what I'm talking about. And then, like I said, everybody kind of broke down, because I guess the way this particular lift is designed, yeah, it's 400 pounds, but the weight distribution of it makes the weight distribution different. However, her form in this is apparently awful. I don't know. I don't lift like this. So I'm just going off of this is why I watched Alan and why I watched Alona. And then when Lindsay chimed in too, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, her form is apparently terrible. But then they were all kind of breaking down how this weight distribution kind of works out. And I think Alan put it best where he was like, this is basically like picking up a bag of heavy groceries. So it's not really that impressive, but all Anna hears is that she lifted 400 pounds. And it's like, I mean, if you don't know anything about heavy lifting, which I really don't, I'm not going to pretend like I do. So she says this and you're just like, oh, wow, 400 pounds. That's pretty good. Because I think I mean, I'm just kind of going off of what I remember from the Olympics. And I think that's actually pretty high. If you're talking about like what is the snatch and the jerk, guys, please don't come for me. But I don't remember them lifting 400 pounds. I think they got close. But I think all of them were in like the high 300s. So you got Anna over here like, I deadlifted 400 pounds. She doesn't say deadlifted, I don't think. I think she actually stopped shy of saying that. But anyway, the way she's kind of selling this, you know, I power lifted 400 pounds. Is this powerlifting? Is this considered powerlifting? I don't know. But let me know. But that's kind of my thing. Like the way she kind of words this and the way she kind of sells it. And then she's just like, I'm so strong. And it's like, cool. I don't think I can lift 400 pounds. I don't know. Maybe I can. I don't weigh 600 either. So I don't know how you determine what you load these bars up with to assess. Because she says, my trainer, what does she say here? My trainer wanted to assess what my limits are. So I'm assuming he put what he assumed would be a comfortable amount of weight on this bar for Anna. It wasn't just like, hey, let's load it up with 400 pounds. I'm sure he had, I would hope, had some kind of idea of what she should be able to lift. And that's what he put on the bar. Right? That's my thought. So anyway, kind of going with that. But, you know, all Anna heard was 400 pounds, you know, personal record, and strong woman. Those are the only thoughts that went through Anna's head. And I'm sure she's kind of pissed at us because... Is there music in this? I'm sure Anna's kind of mad at us because we didn't all fall over ourselves and fan ourselves and, oh my God, Anna, you are the strongest woman I have ever seen in my life. I'm sure she's mad at us because we didn't do that. Alan did say he was very impressed that she didn't drop the bar. So you did get a compliment from Alan. Sort of. I would take that as a compliment. That's me. So I would, if I were you, I would take that as a compliment. Don't take that as me putting words in Alan's mouth, because I would never do that, but I would internalize that as a compliment if I were you. But that was like the one nice thing Alan said. Alan tore everything else that she did there apart. And even Alona was saying that her rounded back, that there is a form of lifting where you can use a rounded back, but she was saying that people have to train for years in order to strengthen their back to do that form of lifting because it's so hard on your back. And there's no way in hell Anna's done that kind of training. So effectively, that rounded back that Anna's using is so damaging to her back because her back's just too weak. Alan didn't say anything about that form of lifting. Alan just said that she's completely destroying her back by lifting like that. And even I could see... That was kind of fun just watching the video go backwards. When she picks the bar up, she kind of rocks in her feet. Alan said something about the way that she jerks her arms when she picks the bar up. I don't know. But I do know she's not steady on her feet when she picks the bar up. Like, she rocks back onto her heels and then comes back up onto her toes. Anyway. That's the guy. Is that Alan? Not Alan Roberts, but Alan, her hiker buddy. So, I don't know. Anyway. Oh god, those were my ears. Who was it that was pointing this one out? Workouts are better with friends. Try changing it up. Try changing it up by working out with a friend and doing movements where you have to work as a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. No, I'm sorry. Teamwork can be a great motivator to help you try new things, push through, and evolve. I need the Pokemon evolution thing there. All right. Somebody was pointing out that this is once again one of those people that Anna doesn't know the difference between people she hires to provide services to her and people who are her friends. What can I do for you? Do you notice that I have the camera out and therefore you must be annoying? Is that your deal now? I'm ignoring you. But anyway, there's no words to this. It's just Anna and what I'm assuming is one of the trainers at the really expensive day spa that she went to. Hi. First off, you know you're not supposed to do that. Secondly, what do you want? You have food, you've had water, it's nowhere near dinner time. What can I do for you? You're cute and adorable. No, would you stop for real? All right, anyway. She says, what I eat in a day at a wellness retreat, and her weird, awkward eating. One of the things I learned during my wellness retreat... No, she didn't. One of the things I learned during my wellness experience might shock you. I need to eat more. Look, here's the thing. Anna needs to go on Secret Eaters, is all I can come up with. Anna needs to go on Secret Eaters. She needs to have those Secret Eater detectives follow her around. She needs to wear a fucking body cam all day and just have somebody record for her what she eats in a day, because she is delusional. And she has definitely gone into her haze, her secondary haze phase, because we were watching this at the live last night, we were just watching it. And though the food that she's eating does look good, the portions that she's eating are very large. And this is one of those things that I was saying in the Abby Sharp videos. You can eat a whole food diet and you can still overeat, right? If your portion sizes are very large, you're still overeating. Okay? The food that she's eating doesn't necessarily look terrible, right? I'm not a huge avocado fan, but these breakfast tacos, they don't look bad. And somebody else pointed out that there's a lack of carbs in these. Not in a bad way. There's no bread. These tortilla shells are about the closest thing. Why do you have to be such a weirdo? These are the closest thing to like bread that she gets. There was some rice in the shrimp stir fry. There's the salad. There's something under the meat, but I can't tell what. I don't know if there's like some kind of potato or something underneath it. And then later on, she eats this yogurt and granola with berries. There you go. So there's granola here. But those are like the non-fruit and veg carb sources, right? There's the tortillas, there's the rice, and there's the granola, the ones I can confirm, right? So, but there's no, as far as we saw, there's no like slices of bread rolls. I didn't see any potatoes, but this vegetable soup that she eats, I mean, it probably has some kind of potato or squash or carrot base to it. So it's got some kind of starchy vegetable base to it. It may even have cream base in it. You know, it's got some kind of veggie. It's some kind of chowder or something like that. I have no idea. I can't really break it down too much. But these portions that she's eating are very large. You know, she's got 3 good-sized breakfast tacos. Those look delicious. Don't get me wrong. But then she's got this pretty decent-sized cup of soup and this huge shrimp stir fry. I mean, there's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 good-sized pieces of shrimp in there, plus all the stir fry, plus the rice. And that's a pretty good serving for lunch. And then for dinner, she's got, I'm not going to knock salad, especially like a salad like that. There's not a whole lot going on in that salad. But then like this, there's a lot of meat there. And if there's nothing under that and it's just a big giant pile of meat, that's a lot of meat. And then she has this big ass bowl of yogurt and berries and granola. That's just a lot. A lot of food at one sitting. Like individually, this isn't like the worst eating. Like the meals themselves spaced out isn't that bad. And you do have to understand that like even on a diet, Anna's a big girl, and I don't expect Anna to drop down to like a 1,200 calorie diet. That's unless you're doing Dr. Now's diet, that's just unreasonable, in my opinion. I'm not a nutritionist, but I just think it's an unreasonable thing to ask, unless again you're doing Dr. Now's diet, and you know he is being unreasonable, but he's doing it for a reason. He's also a doctor. You know, Anna's at a wellness retreat. She's paying $4,000 a week to be there, something stupid, ridiculous like that. You know, they're going to feed her what she wants to eat. They're going to give her the portion sizes she wants. They've probably evaluated how many calories she ideally needs in a day, yada, yada, yada. This is also the same wellness retreat she ate Crustables during her hike on. So they're clearly not monitoring her every bite that she eats, right? So anyway, I never finished reading this. Under the guidance of a nutritionist, this is what a day of eating looked like for me. Lots of protein, bigger portions than I was used to. Girl, stop. And even snacks. You drank a milk and yogurt. I watched you do a protein snack haul where you mentioned that you would eat 2 or 3 protein snack bars, a bag of protein snack chips, and a protein cinnamon roll for breakfast sometimes daily. I watched you put a snackle box together that was over 1,000 to 1,200 calories. Stop. I watched you take 2 Nando's family meals and break them up into a week's worth of meal prep. Stop. I've watched you meal prep. Stop. Anyway. I also felt more capable to do more because my body had the fuel it needed to perform. The biggest takeaway I took from this is to look at eating as fuel and not to wait until I was on total empty to refuel my tank. Okay. Sure. You're still faster than the people, we're just going to let it play. You're still faster than the people not doing it. This is Triple Falls Trail, DuPont State Recreational Forest, North Carolina. It's a 3-miler with fun offshoots you can add to make it 4. The trail has 1 steep hill at the beginning, but otherwise is an enjoyable way to see 3 waterfalls. Hiking, North Carolina, Adventure, Asheville. She was in North Carolina for a while. She says, POV, you're slow, but you go on the hike anyway. How bad's the music in this one? Bad. All right. She says something halfway through this, but I don't hear it and I don't care. So it's probably something like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm hiking all the way up here. Those are some pretty waterfalls, though. And I know she's wearing her Pop Flex outfit. So those are pretty waterfalls. Is she wearing her hiking shoes or is she still wearing sneakers? Sneak, sneak, sneak. She's wearing her sneakers still. So she hasn't bought the hiking shoes yet. Okay, she says POV focusing on being stronger versus smaller. How bad's the music? There's no sound? There's no sound. There's sound in this one, isn't there? Huh. There's no sound. Anyway. Shifting my mindset from I need to get smaller. When? Remember, it's not about losing weight. You constantly tell us that. Constantly. Since when has your mindset been, I need to get smaller, Anna? You always remind us over and over and over and over that it's not about weight loss. So it's been about weight loss? Anyway, shifting my mindset from I need to get smaller to I need to get more capable has changed my life. I go to the gym with goals and allow that to drive me to continue to show up day after day. Is my body still changing? Yes, your body's always changing. You remind us about how your body is changing every time you do anything related to clothes. My body's changing, you guys. I have no idea what size I wear. No shit. Go to the gym with goals and allow me to drive. Da, 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 da. Is my body still changing? Of course it is. Okay. You are the credible changing woman. I'm just not stressed about when or how this change happens. I'm moving to do as much in life as I can. Peep the new lifting shoes from Reebok. So Reebok gave you some new shoes, did they? Those are some green shoes. I'm not gonna lie. I think Alona was asking if she'd ever seen her do the tire thing before, and I think we have. We've seen her do the tire thing in this before. I don't know if we've ever seen her do tires prior to this, though. Or if we have, it was just like a one-time funsies thing. I wanted to see if we could see what the weight is on these. I mean, I can't really tell, but they look like 45s. I'm not good at this, but when I'm at the gym, these are what the 45s look like. I don't use free weights. They could be 10s for all I know. So, there you go. Here's the thing. She's wearing the same outfit through the whole thing, so this could just be like one day of training for her. And she is using a heavier weight to do the hip thrusts than she is to do the lifts. So. Oh, this is a Skyterra shirt. I failed to notice that the first time. This is the dumbest thing. To celebrate 3-month anniversary of my final lipedema removal surgery, I decided to do an epic hike. 10.5 miles, 1,600 feet elevation gain, and a guide to make sure I didn't get lost. Well, I mean, a map and a compass will also do that. But with Anna, you shouldn't go by yourself. It's dangerous. You shouldn't go alone. To make sure I didn't get lost, in addition to planning the hike, Alan cheered me on. Someone has to plan your hikes. Because we know you don't do it. Alan cheered me on when it felt impossible. What I learned is my body can do super cool and incredible things when I fuel it properly with Uncrustables. When I fuel it properly and believe in it. Did you clap? Did you clap like Peter Pan clapped for Tinkerbell? How old are you to remember that? How old do you have to be to remember that? The trail was a combo of flat Laurel Creek's Falls, Sam's Knob, and Black... Oh, shit. The same person who taught me how to pronounce this one taught me how to pronounce this one. And that tells you how short my memory is. In North Carolina, Alan, in the official outdoorsy guru at Skyterra, the wellness retreat I was at for $4,000 a week. Hiking adventures, hiking North Carolina, Pigsaw National Forest, Asheville. All right. So here's my thing. I watched this in the live with everybody. Couple of things before we get into this. She is wearing hiking boots. I verified that. Though she is wearing hiking boots are typically waterproof or water resistant to waterproof. When she gets into the water, she wades in over the lip of the boot. So her feet do get wet, and I still stand by my statement of the last thing you want when you're hiking is your feet to get wet. So I still think that was a stupid thing for him to let her do, is to get her feet soaked. However, I do believe that they were pretty close to the car at that point, so that's probably why he let her do it. I think what he thought she would end up doing is, I'm guessing those boots were probably waterproof, and he probably thought she was just going to get in the creek and let the water cool the boot down and cool her foot down, which I've done when I have my waders on, because the water will still cool the foot down, cool the boot down without, I mean, my waders they're completely waterproof, so, but that's kind of the point. But she gets into the deeper water and it goes up above the lip of the boot, and so that actually gets into the boot, which completely defeats the purpose of having a waterproof boot. Anyway, I stand by that statement. And what are the other things that I was going to go on about? Oh, we looked up the nutritional information on the Uncrustables, and here's my thing with the Uncrustables. I don't think, personally, that they are the best thing to eat on a hike long term. Like, if you were an everyday hiker and you were doing, especially like long-term outdoor work. However, I have worked with people who ate like the worst shit possible. So, can you get by eating them? Yes. But you can get by eating garbage if you really want to. You can destroy your body and work. You know, your body's going to adapt, unfortunately. Is it going to adapt long term? So can you get away with eating Uncrustables? Yes. Do I think they're the best thing to eat? No. Do I think for Anna it was like the worst thing? No, because she was really just using it like a food reward, which makes it even weirder. Like, they weren't actually eating them, or she wasn't actually, because I don't think he was eating them at all. The box she had only had four Uncrustables in it, and she eats 4 Uncrustables, so he doesn't eat any of them unless they had another box with them, which they might have. But they only ever show us one box, so she's the only one eating them, which tells you something. But they're basically using these Uncrustables as food motivation for her, right? Now, someone else kind of pointed out that it could be another one of her unsponsored sponsors, or unmentioned sponsors, that she might have been being sponsored by Uncrustables, which is very Anna. She gets sponsors all the time where she just fails to mention that she's being sponsored. So it's entirely possible that she was being sponsored by Uncrustables and just doesn't put it anywhere. So that's a very Anna thing. So there's that. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, but they are made with peanut butter, but they only have like 5 grams of protein per sandwich, but they're also like 210 calories, but they're processed out the wazoo. So I don't know. I wouldn't eat them, but I don't like Uncrustables. So I would not even consider it, right? However, if you are somebody who wants to eat them, I don't think they're going to kill you. I don't think they're like the worst thing you could possibly eat on a hike. Honestly, I think because they're processed out the wazoo and they basically are just like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I mean, they're actually kind of like field safe. You know, you can probably pack them in and they probably will be fairly stable for hiking because it's not like they're going to go off in your bag in the heat kind of a thing. So would it be better to just make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Probably. You have more control over the ingredients and the quality of stuff. But, you know, that kind of a thing. All right, I think that's everything I wanted to kind of caveat.
Hardest hike ever. A 10.5
10.5, 16-foot elevation gain this is my motivation. Here's my other problem here. And it's not Schmuckers. Cat here. All right, let's go.
One of the things I've been working on is eating regularly to keep myself fueled. And
Eating something regularly to keep myself fueled. And
it's something I really struggle with ADHD.
Anna, since she's been at Skyterra, now remember we watched that one about her. You guys will be surprised, but the one thing I've been learning while I'm at Skyterra is that I need to eat more. I need to eat more frequently and larger portions. And now here she's saying, oh, my ADHD prevents me from eating regularly. It's disputed if she has ADHD. I don't remember her. I just remember her occasionally mentioning that she has ADHD. Here's the thing. I would believe it because she has a real bad habit of starting things and then just stopping altogether. Like, I'm kind of surprised the podcast still exists, to be perfectly honest with you. Also, when was the last time we heard her mention the podcast? But it still exists.
So we figured that a good way to manage this was every 2 miles have a predictable food, and that just happened to be Uncrustables.
Her pace on this 10-mile hike, according to her own data, was a mile an hour, which is really slow. So every 2 miles, she was eating an Uncrustable, which means every 2 hours she was eating. I don't think you need to do that. She was out for 10 hours on this hike. Okay, you don't really need to eat every 2 hours. You just don't. Even on a hike like this. So I don't understand what the point of this was. Which also lends a lot of credence to this being a sponsor, being a sponsored thing by Schmuckers or by Uncrustables here, because I don't get the point of this other than we're just literally using this as food motivation. Like every 2 miles, Anna, you can have a treat. You can do it, Anna. How lame is that? So that was weird. And also, you're out for 10 hours. Surely to God you had lunch. Like, you do need to eat lunch. And I really hope, like, you had to be drinking. I mean, as much as she's sweating, she had to drink water. And surely you were eating something else besides Uncrustables every 2 hours. Like, Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. the longer this hike goes on, okay, we know Anna, right? We've watched enough Anna. We've seen Anna in action long enough. The more challenging something gets, the shittier Anna gets. Like, the worse her attitude gets. She just becomes nasty and grouchy and just absolutely hateful. The longer she has to suffer, and it is suffering, and everyone has to suffer with her. Okay? This hike is weird. And I get that she's out with a relatively attractive man. And I get that Anna is super awkward around guys, especially guys she finds attractive, which is like every guy. But yes, she is definitely that. Like, she's definitely that. But there are points in this hike where she is like almost hysterical. Like, she's manic. It's weird. And she never, ever gets to that strange... she never gets grouchy, which is really weird for her. Very, very weird for her. Even when they finally get back to the car, she's still not grouchy. And a couple people in the chat last night were suggesting that it might be something akin to runner's high, where she's basically just got like runner's euphoria or workout euphoria because she's just pushed herself so hard. Because a couple people pointed out that because she's out with this guy, yes, she could be trying to impress him. And yeah, she probably is. But also because she's out with this guy, she can't quit. Right? It's a 5 mile in, 5 mile out hike, right? Once you start this hike in, you have, like, if you want to go back to the car, you have to hike out. So if she's 3 miles in, and she's done, that's still 3 miles she has to hike back out to the car, right? So, like, regardless, she's screwed once she starts this hike, unless she gets a mile in and she says, like, nope, right? So, this is one of the few times in her life where she's basically been forced to complete a challenge like this. And a lot of people were kind of suggesting that because she couldn't just bail on this like she's bailed on other things. We've watched her do. You know, she bailed on the things in Hawaii because it got too difficult. She crapped out at the cave. You know, there was an extra part to the cave that she could have done, and she chose not to do it because she was not feeling well. And then the trip down here, there were several things that she chose not to do because she wasn't feeling well. You know, so she will bail on things, but she couldn't here, right? Because A, she was with this guy and she probably was trying to impress him. And B, even if she did decide to bail, she still has to walk back to the vehicle. They can't get the vehicle out here, right? So probably one of the reasons why she was just basically becoming so euphoric is because she has literally pushed herself to the point of exhaustion. And it's very strange watching her through the camera just progressively get more and more manic. And it's concerning. And you guys remember how I was talking in my video about heat exhaustion. And I'm just kind of like, I'm getting concerned. This is not typical Anna behavior. This isn't even typical Anna flirting with a guy behavior. Like, this is worrying, right? And we know what typical Anna behavior looks like. And just watching this video, the more I watch it, the more I'm just like, did he take her to like the doctor afterwards? She's not okay. She's not okay. And somebody, I forget who it was in the chat, but somebody was like, did he take her to like the med center afterwards? Did he take her to the emergency room? Like, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, I don't know exactly what was wrong. I can't tell you from here, but I know from her behavior, something was not right. Okay. Will she ever admit that? No, probably. We will never know exactly what was wrong. I don't know how hot it was. Anna's a sweater anyway. She just sweats. So that's not an indicator to me how warm it was here. So I can't say, oh, it was heat exhaustion. I don't know how much water she was drinking. We only have 3.5 minutes of this entire hike, this entire 10-hour day, like almost 10.5-hour day. So we don't know the full story here. Hopefully this guy is not a complete idiot and he had like a worst case scenario plan. I don't know how he thought he was going to get her out of there should she collapse, but he's supposedly the outdoor guru here. So hopefully he had some plan. But Christ on a stick, she was not okay by the end of this hike.
Gone in the dark.
4 miles in, second crusty, and look. I just hiked 1,000 feet in the air. And I'm sweaty enough to prove it. We're hiking across the creek. And I turned to this lovely man. And
This is her being cringy as fuck. This lovely man.
I'm like, hey, you ever been up there? And I'm pointing to a cliff that's like way up in the sky, right? What did you say to me?
Yeah, I've been there before.
And it's like, oh, that doesn't have a name because not a lot of people get up there.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting up here. And he goes, Anna, you told me not to tell you where we were headed, but that cliff you pointed to earlier, well, you're sitting on it right now. So I hiked up to that cliff and so was it possible? He just told me. I was like, man, I really didn't have a
Been up there before? Yeah, I've been up there. You're about to.
This isn't how Anna behaves. This is weird. I'm gonna mute it for a little bit. She says, honestly, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I hurt, but I had to push my body and it showed up for me. She says 6-mile hike, another uncrustable. This is where she really starts to be super fucking weird. She says, but I'm on top of like a pretty big mountain right now. It's world 600. She's at 1,600 feet at this point. 6,000. Oh. Okay, that's the other thing. She starts losing her words. Don't get me wrong. Okay, of the girls, this one's the most put together, right? She doesn't tend to like, I don't know. She doesn't tend to like stumble over herself as much as the other girls do. She doesn't like make up. She doesn't like, she's not like Amber where she talks faster than she thinks. And so she ends up making up words because she can't speak as fast as, or she can't think as fast as she speaks, kind of a thing. But she's just completely out of it. She's like, this is bananas. This is crazy what you can do. Okay, yeah, this is the motivated by the crystals part. Hang on.
When you are motivated by the crystals. And this man, literally, an angel.
Don't get me wrong. Yes, she is fucking cringy around guys. Yes, she is. Watching her flirt with anything male is one of the most uncomfortable things you will ever witness in your fucking life. It is like I need an adult in the room uncomfortable, right? But this is just weird.
I can sit on mountains.
And he doesn't know that this is not normal for her.
I'm talking on the Uncrustable.
We're delusional.
Here, she's losing her ability to put words together.
It's all down here from here. It's all downhill. Wait, hold on. It's all downhill from here.
If you don't know anything about Anna, or if you've not watched a lot of Anna's stuff, or if you don't know what Anna's like through her own videos, by the way, this isn't like, oh, I followed Anna around a lot and I know Anna personally. This is through her own videos. If you don't know any of this, like, this is just ha ha ha, and it's funny, yeah, blah blah blah. This is funny, yeah, because it is. This is weird. This is not normal. This is strange. Like, this is not good. Anyway, I'm just gonna let the rest of this play out from here because I've probably gotten hit with copyright at some point at this point. Excuse me. She points out that it took her forever to say that. And now it's just pictures of her drinking water. She says, I'm holding out until I get to the car for my last Uncrustables because right now I'm over it. That's more typical Anna. Here she's walking through the water. And she was doing okay until she gets in over the lip of the boot here. He's actually encouraging her. I don't think he thought she was going to like wade into the deeper water. But I also think that they were like right next to the car at that point. I checked the box when she held it up. The box does say there's 4 Crustables in there, so, and she ate 4 of them. I never saw him eat one, so they might have had 2 boxes. It's entirely possible they may have had a box for each of them. But see, even in the car here, I mean, compare this to when John and her were driving across country and any of the stops they went to, right? Alan is obviously driving, you know? Compare her behavior there to the way she was behaving when John and her were driving, and she was tired when John was driving. Okay? Her behavior is so different. But anyway. All right. We're getting to the end here. Great. Here's a great example of how I stay active on vacation by spending money. Kidding. Are you though? I'm in Taos? Yeah, Taos. Well, the AI says it's Taos, so that's what we're going with. Julian said it's pronounced Taos. Or Taos. Yeah, Taos. All right, so she says, I'm in Taos for a few days before my next big hiking challenge so I can acclimate to the higher altitude. In order to help myself adapt, it's important to keep moving so my lungs can get used to the lower oxygen density. How high up is Taos? Anyway, it helps that Taos, New Mexico is such an adorable town with lots of ways to keep yourself entertained while keeping your body moving. Body moving. Taos Pueblo is a... Pueblo? Yeah. Pueblo, yeah. Pueblo. It's Pueblo. I know this one. Yeah. Taos Pueblo is a living Native American community, is Pueblo building that has been around for over 1,000 years. Did I read that correctly? Is Pueblo buildings that have been around for 1,000 years. Okay, anyway. The nature and hiking trails, the reason I'm here. Cool. Taos Plaza for cute local shops. I hit the Taos Outfitters for some new hiking gear. Wow, you wore... Anyway. All the amazing rock shops. The town has a ton of them. Twirl, the most interesting toy store ever, complete with free play area and indoor koi pond. All right, cool. All right, let's go. Taos, New Mexico. 8 a.m. nature trail to start the day. With your dog, not on a leash. All right, whatever. I don't give a shit. Coffee, because caffeine makes me a nicer person. Really? 10 a.m. Buy things my godson doesn't need at Taos Rockers. Cool rock shop. While drinking my Starbies. 10 a.m. Buy things I don't need at Taos Plaza. With your dog on a leash, finally. Cool place, though. Attempt to exhaust my godson at Twirl. So your godson's with you? Eat at home because I spent too much money. You're not at home. You don't live in New Mexico. Visit Taos Pueblos and try not to spend more money. That's not the Pueblos. This vintage ring. Just barely beat the afternoon rainstorm. Dinner at home to even out my jewelry purchase. Read and relax. Okay, cool. She didn't, Alright, this is the video that supposedly started the rant about how we're all dum-dums. Yes. This is my first hike over 8K, the height at which people can experience serious altitude sickness, and I did it 100% alone. Right, so I've never experienced high altitude sickness, so I had to ask people about it, and I had to look it up. Apparently, altitude sickness is no fucking joke. As usual, Anna did not take it seriously, much like she didn't take heat exhaustion seriously. At least here, she didn't try to pretend like, I almost died. So we didn't have to deal with that. And she also didn't take the dog. However, altitude sickness is no joke. From what I learned from my chat, you can die from altitude sickness or from, you can die from altitude sickness. Apparently things such as like you can go blind from altitude sickness. You can have severe dizziness. It can make you ill, like physically vomiting ill. So it sounds like a lot of the same symptoms you would get from heat exhaustion, you will also experience with altitude sickness, which sort of kind of makes sense. The body kind of responds to extreme stress in sort of the same ways. It shuts the brain down. It expels anything in your stomach. It shuts you down. It's trying to preserve itself by shutting everything else down. It's trying to preserve the brain by shutting everything else down, which causes, dizziness, vomiting, expelling from other ends, and also leading up to unconsciousness, which can lead to not waking up again, ever. Her going on this hike by herself, knowing that she could experience altitude sickness, her going hiking by herself as an inexperienced hiker, especially at high altitudes, is absolutely ridiculous. And personally, I think she should have had someone with her, because what happens if she had passed out? She had no one with her. Did anyone know she was there? She, as usual, I don't think she had a map or a compass. I think she was completely relying on her stupid Apple Watch. Okay. When will people learn to quit doing that? I don't know. But this is the thing with her. The potential for things to go wrong is so high, and yet nothing has happened. Therefore, in her head, nothing can happen. And so she just keeps challenging fate until something will eventually go wrong. And when it does go wrong, it's going to be catastrophic because she never prepares, right? And she's just constantly trying to prove everyone around her wrong. And she's just constantly trying to prove all of us haters wrong about how, she can just be the biggest, fattest, tallest, most rawest girl and do everything the rest of us can do. And it's like, bitch, the rest of us carry safety gear for a fucking reason when we go out in situations like this. It's not because we don't like you. It's because we don't want to die. I carry a compass with me when I go hiking because I don't want to get lost. It has nothing to do with me not liking you. Okay? You do not have an innate sense of direction. I don't care who you are. I don't care how fucking special you think you are. You will get lost. Okay? There are horror stories of hikers getting lost, just going to the bathroom and never coming home. Okay? You are not special. Anyway. And then to go on a hike like this, where the potential for altitude sickness is high. Altitude sickness can cause disorientation, dizziness, the loss of knowing where the hell you are, and to not take any kind of, safety precautions. Okay. Did you not want to come home? But she did. So apparently the rest of us are wrong. All of those safety warnings that the DNR puts out there. What do they know? The Williams Lake Trail in Taos is technically a 3.7 mile out and back, but if you add in the walk to the trailhead and A saunter around the lake, you're looking at more like 5+. Okay, well. The hike literally took me forever to do. No. Your pace is a mile an hour. I had to keep pausing to allow my body to acclimate because I did not want to get sick from the low oxygen levels. Somebody pointed out that they sell oxygen tanks at the visitor center around there. Blows my mind. Never been someplace where I needed to buy oxygen to go hiking. Hiking at 10K feet or 10K plus feet is no joke. And yet you seem to treat it like it is. Pushing too hard too quickly and failing to keep properly hydrated / fueled. I don't think food is really a problem at this. I don't really think food is an issue. Could have not only given me altitude sickness, it also could have triggered my autoimmune conditions to flare. And yet you took no one with you. I really don't think food is an issue here. I think hydration is an issue. I think you definitely need to stay hydrated. It has been my experience when hiking that eating actually makes shit worse because your stomach, when your stomach is digesting, blood flow goes to your stomach. Your body sends blood flow to your stomach to digest, and it diverts blood flow from elsewhere. So it causes you, or this has been my experience, it causes you to feel dizzy, and it can cause you to feel sick because it's pulled blood flow from elsewhere to help you digest. Anyway, could also have triggered my autoimmune conditions to flare. Getting to the top by myself was proof that everything I've been working to learn and do is starting to open up things I truly could have never imagined I'd be able to do. Here's to many more adventures in the mountains, on mountains in the sky. Do you know that experienced hikers very rarely hike by themselves in dangerous areas or in areas that they expect there to be complications? Especially experienced hikers that know that they have physical complications that could cause them issues like possible autoimmune disease or autoimmune flare-ups that could cripple them while they're on the hiking trails. You understand that, right? Whatever, you're special. Whatever. My bad. Don't worry, there's people out there who will come rescue you, I suppose, once they figure out that you're missing. What do they say? It's no longer a rescue mission. It's no longer rescue. It's reconnaissance. Something like that. I don't know. Is there music on this one? It's just called Epic Music. All right. Today, I'm really pushing myself. I'm doing the William Lake Trail in Taos, New Mexico. It's going to be really hard for me for 3 reasons. One is the highest altitude I've ever done, and it starts at 10K feet. 2, it's an aggressive climb up. It's about 1,000 feet up in about 1.5 miles. And 3, I'm 600 pounds. I'm going it alone, so I don't have anyone to help me get through this. I've got to do it by myself. That is the dumbest. I'm ranting. She says, I'm going. Yeah, I think even higher than that. I'm not 100% sure. So she doesn't even 100% know where she's going. She says 1 mile down, Gatorade break. So at this high of an altitude, you're actually at risk for altitude sickness. So hydration becomes incredibly important to survive. That was the point where I was like, altitude sickness can take your ass out. And that's where my chat was like, yes, it can. And I was like, oh, well, I need to learn more about altitude sickness. She says, the air is so thin that I'm out of breath like every couple steps, so I have to stop, recatch my breath, and keep going. But right now, I'm at 10.5K feet, half a mile from the lake. Sorry. The altitude is really rough, but I'm determined to make it. I know this looks super simple, but high altitude hiking is no joke. And yet, you're treating it like it is. She said, I freaking made it. It took me forever. Went slow, but hell, it doesn't matter because I made it. And then she says, And then someone says behind her, have you made it here before? And Anna turns to them and says, no. It's a woman behind her. And the woman says, congratulations. And Anna looks at the camera. And apparently it's okay this time that a random stranger has told her, good job getting out there. This time it's okay. This person must know who Anna is. This person must know Anna's story and must know who Anna is. So this person's allowed to talk to her. And then the same person tells her there's a sign just a little ways down. And so this is Anna. I guess she's taking her pack and stuff off because I know she had her pack on her. But she's got her hiking shoes on. Anyway. So this is it is a carved stick. Someone has carved a stick like a dagger and stuck it into this pole here. She's got somebody taking her picture for her. So she has walked down to the sign that says Williams Lake, elevation 11K and some change. But it's just the picture by the lake. Anna's taking a goofy picture by the lake. Now Anna's taking her own goofy picture by the lake. She says, and that's insane. As usual, Anna can't just take a picture of nature. Anna must be in the picture of nature. And she says it's freaking insane. It is pretty. Anna has positioned the camera to show herself walking down to the lake. And she says, I feel like I'm going to have a good cry. And then she starts to ugly cry for us without squeezing out any actual tears. I just wanted to do this stuff for so long and now I can. And I'm just really grateful. Cool. All right, I've had my rant about this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I've had my rant about this. She does have her hiking shoes on that she had when she was at the resort. So, I don't know timeline. I don't know. I'll have to put the timeline together later. Because the way things are posted on her TikTok are not necessarily the order in which it occurred in real life. She says, when it starts to rain at the end of your hike. She says, I needed to shower anyways. I'm just glad it happened after I got off the trail. I mean, fair. I hate hiking in the rain. The days that it would rain on work days was just the fucking worst. It's just the worst. I guarantee you we were never dancing in the rain. God, rain days were the worst. Because it never rained hard enough to not work, so you still had to work. Okay, and that's the last here on TikTok. That has taken us an hour and a half to get through. All right, so yeah, there's a peanut emoji, so go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. So that's your emoji for now. So yeah, so that's your emoji. We can discuss any of this. You can talk about the meltdown videos if you guys want. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about the hiking stuff. I obviously have strong opinions. You guys let me know what you think about the weightlifting stuff. I don't have as strong opinions because, again, I don't do free weights. So let me know about that. But I do watch Alan and I do watch Ilona and I do listen to other people who do weights. So, hey, do. And that's all I've got for you guys. So we will get caught up on the rest of that. That's really all I've got for you guys. So see everybody in the next video and bye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.